Okay, welcome back. Everyone's still with us. I would like to invite the last section to the stage. So the union president candidates, please step on stage. Perfect. Okay, thank you very much for coming. Let's get to the final segment of the night. Opening statements. Both candidates have 2 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Louise. I'm your current president at the Student Union, and I've decided to rerun again because I guess I loved it that much. Getting grilled by the university is so fun. I've had a very valuable and insightful experience, and I've gained in-depth knowledge of the Student Union, the university, and generally like the students' unions, and I felt like that I could use that experience again, hence why I'm rerunning. So yeah, thank you.
Hi guys. So my name is Rohit. I'm a master's student in business and management. Just landed in January, so pretty new to this. Previous experiences as the communications officer and the uni president back in India. Yeah, I'm just thinking of continuing that in Stirling right now.
Thank you both. Unfortunately, the third candidate, Inam Khan, was not able to make it to the event today. However, he emphasized that the host would read his manifesto out loud. So Inam Khan is running on empowering students, igniting change, and a vision for all. His manifesto reads fostering inclusivity, empowering change. And as Inam Khan, as union president, he's committed to amplifying student voices, promoting diversity and inclusion, advocating for student welfare, driving sustainable change, and strengthening community engagement. Yeah, that's all the candidates presented. Let's start with the rapid fire statements. So, to both of you, statement number one, refresh is better than scrap.
For me it's refresh. I just go hang out, play games, get up pizza or
I think I'd say refresh as well. Obviously, if it was like the old scrap where there was like the pizza stuff, I would probably vote scrap.
Good answer, Smart. I appreciate that. Statement number two, cilantro is better than kilter.
Sorry guys, I never been to both of them till now. It's been a month, still exploring.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
The statement is cilantro is better than kilter kangaroo.
I mean, probably kilted can, yeah, I would say like I prefer kilted in comparison to Salajava. I don't know, obviously this might sound so controversial, but it's just because I guess for the past 5 years of me being here, I've not always known it as kilted, and I felt like the colors of the bar were more vibrant and kind of like nice. But yeah.
Thank you. Statement number three, there should be more seminars and lectures in person.
I think I'm done with virtual classes as of right now, in 3 years in COVID. I pretty prefer in person, but at the same time, if it's online, well and good. As long as you get the content which they're trying to process to you.
I would definitely say hybrid options, having the option to choose whether you would like to attend a lecture or seminar online or in person. I think it's just more accessible to people and caters to lots of different groups.
Thank you. Statement number 4. Living in town is better than living on campus.
Okay, I'm gonna take it from like the angle of the fact that everything is on town. So it's just like if you want to go to the bowling alley, if you want to go to the shopping center, if you want to find better, more cheaper shops like Tesco, obviously living in town is quite convenient. Living on campus just means that you kind of limited to classes only, but also if you train early and like hence if you're like a sports member of a club, that kind of thing, then maybe it's more convenient living on campus. Obviously classes as well. But if we're talking about prices, I definitely recommend town because campus just keeps on going up and I would say is the most reliable option.
Thank you. And the age-old question Bolstock has had for the past 10 years, I would consider myself a big name on campus.
No. And it's been a month, I have a new face. To the people who I talk to, they would recognize me, but not to everyone. Making myself out in the market right now is what I would say.
Yes. I feel like I've kind of gotten used to the fact that I don't have to introduce myself to people anymore. I just assume they know me, and it's just become a constant thing. It's not even a cocky or arrogant thing. I think because being a sabbatical officer in general, you end up being more known. And on top of it, I'm like a social butterfly. I talk to pretty much anyone and everyone about so many different things.
Thank you.
1 second, can I just add on something? So when the elections were out and I figured out Clean was in the running, I went and declared it to her. Like, I'm coming for a position. So that's how famous she is right now.
Thank you. Moving on to the host questions. To each candidate individually. You have 2 minutes to respond. Let's start with our current union president, Lee. Lee, as you seek re-election, it's important to reflect on the challenges or shortcomings encountered during your previous term. Could you elaborate any specific areas where you feel improvements could have been made, and how do you plan to address these moving forward to ensure a more successful tenure in the upcoming term?
A long question, but I got the point. Most definitely, I came in, just like being truly honest, I came in with, I'm going to change the world mindset. Right now, I still have that, but with just like 3% less. But, yeah, came with, I'm going to change the world mindset. My old manifesto has pretty much anything and everything. I look at it and it's like, I wanted to do so much, which is great. You can be ambitious, but if you want to walk out with things done, you're gonna have to narrow things down pretty much. So that is one thing. That's one of the main things. In terms of how, having it laid out pretty much like clearly, already having an idea of the know-hows, kind of just already shapes your path to get to your goal.
Thank you, Lee. And Susai, there's often a big gap between sports clubs and societies. Do you have anything planned in this regard to the eventual shrinking of the gap between these?
Yeah, I did notice it from my previous experience and here. Previously, both the sports and it's called cultural back in my place, so it's societies here. So when both of these events happen parallelly, you get a lot of exposure together. But when there's a sports happening separately and you have to come back to your societies and you have to do that separately, there's a mix of clash. So when I was planning to join over here, I had multiple societies and multiple sport clubs clashing with each other, and I had to decide like which one to go to, which one not to. Plus, a lot of events where societies can come at each other and get a overall cover and evaluate, and it's the best society we participate in everything as inclusive of the sports and the society, because talent is present here. There's a lot of competitions, what I would say, within everybody. That's what I felt when I landed here.
Thank you, Zach. Now moving on to the audience question time. So audience, if you have questions to our two candidates for the Union Press, please step forward.
I have a question, it's more directed at Lee, but you can answer it. What have you done in this last year or in your as a previous experience that demonstrates your ability to be union president next year? And what have you started last year that you would like to continue? And does that make sense?
No. Oh. So a lot of the stuff that I ended up doing or focusing on revolved around ED&I, particularly around representation of across a range of different BAME backgrounds. A lot of initiatives and events for Black History Month, worked with the university across numerous areas to support international students. One of the areas that I started on, and it felt like I had to kind of take 3 steps back and look at the bigger picture every single time due to how prevalent the issue was stuff around interculturalism and diversification awareness in general. So I started with, I wanted to provide support for mental health for POCs specifically, because I felt like that wasn't something that I was able to access throughout my university experience, specifically in my last year. And then that's what I came into the union with, then had to consider training for mental health counselors and advisors. Then I realized that recognizing interculturalism and diversification like strategies should be incorporated amongst the whole of the university, because we have an increasing amount of international students, and I don't think the support is sort of increasing at the same level at all. We're way behind at so many different levels. So that is something that I've started on, and hopefully I can continue in loads of different ways, whether it's micro-behaviors training, whether it's cultural events, whether it's workshops. At so many different levels, there's so many things I'd like to see more of, and I'm pretty sure it's quite tangible. So, yeah. Am I over something?
Just a bit, but I wanted to challenge this to make a bit more like a debate. To your running mate, have you seen something that you feel like Lean should have done more, should have done better, or there is room for improvement?
That's a tough question you're putting me into. Really, it's been only a month, and I'm not in a position to judge somebody as of right now, because I'm new to, I don't know how things a lot of works. If it was back in my place, I would have figured it by now, and I'm not used to the current rules, regulations, acceptance, a lot of factors which we are not all used to. So I don't think I'm in the position to tell whether she's in the wrong or what are the improvement points, is what I would say.
Thank you both. Any other questions from the audience? Please step forward.
So tonight I heard quite a few times divide between living in town, doing things in town, and doing things on campus, living on campus, all these things. I want to know whether you have any ideas about how to bridge the gap between the campus and town. Do you have either ideas or you know how to maybe push the university to solve issues stemming from this divide? And do you even see a hope for this? Because I know it's a very complicated issue. Thank you.
Am I okay to like ask what you mean exactly by bridging the gap?
I'd like to go to be more open-ended, just give more space. But on the other hand, you pointed out that, for example, price-wise, university is harder for students, harsher environment for students than town. Is maybe in this regard something can be done. When it comes to living, students sometimes, especially later year students, are not able to find living in campus because it's allocated differently, preferential allocation when it comes to students of first years. Do you agree with that policy? Do you not agree? So these kind of attitudes or these kind of policies that are politically in place today, do you think there may be an issue in them that creates this divide between the town and the campus? And most importantly, how do we kind of get away from this mindset of campus versus town, but maybe something?
Yeah.
We're trying to create the University of Stirling and not just Stirling campus and then Stirling town. Yeah. How do you see that?
I mean, it's a tricky one. It very much feels like a tricky one because there's like lots of different reasons why people tend to shift to town. I, at the beginning, wanted to see more people on campus and more involvement on campus. But it's like we've got an increasing number of students that are starting to commute from outside of Stirling due to the prices, due to the housing crisis. There's like a number of reasons. An increasing number of online learning / virtual learning kind of leads to that, I guess decreases student numbers on campus, or kind of people wanting to spend more time. A lot of people want to start studying at home due to the cost of living crisis because it's like, well, I'd much rather cook at home, that kind of thing. My classes are online and off anyway. There's transport costs. It feels like there's multiple layers to this, so that it feels difficult to kind of to convince students to come to campus because unless you're willing to provide that support, otherwise it's kind of a tricky one. Yeah, I feel like I could go on forever about this aspect, but it's just like there's so many things that play a role. And in terms of, you've also, I'm trying to remember the question, you also said, you mentioned bridging the gap. I'm not sure if you're on about bridging the gap between the two communities, since those living on campus are typically first years, postgrad students and international students. If they're postgrad students, they're very likely to be international students, that kind of thing. I guess one of the main reasons is because housing on campus is prioritized for international students and first year students and students with accessibility needs. Hence why this is the situation. But it feels like a difficult one. I guess more initiatives. But this question, I feel like there's not one answer that kind of fits the shoe, if you get what I mean. But I hope this works.
with regards to this question. For initially, when as a student comes to the university, they expect a lot of activities, studies, and all this. So here you should segregate what their priority is. So when I was searching for my housing, I wanted to be involved in all the activities which happens in the campus, in and around campus. So it's like the beach court, the most expensive one you can find in the brochure, that was the nearest, so I had to go for that. Again, so others, they had a different priority, that is lower payment, required by university accommodation, so they went to the nearest options elsewhere. So there's another set of students who would come for the education and they come with the education either by hybrid, via class or via seminar. There's a whole other bunch. And there's a specific branch which is comes for the visa requirement. That's a thing which we also mentioned right now because there's a lot of visa requirements which we have to pass through. So it's a whole different story for them. So to cater to all the specific students, it would be a very diverse task as the student union council as well as the general body of the university to think of all this. But at the same time, again, Stirling or campus, it makes, again, personally, it's your personal choice as to what you want to do. You can put up a council or a commission list with all the people who can actually take an action on it, figure out what is the best approach to this solution or the problem for this and deal with it. This is what I would think. I would be doing it if I'm raising this question. Thank you.
Thank you both. Any other questions? Please step forward.
Okay, despite my boyfriend telling me that he's really sick of hearing about it, are you going to be at the protest tomorrow, 1 o'clock, in relation to friends? But my second proper question is, obviously at the moment students are facing a cost of living crisis. We have had initiatives such as the community food initiative, which is great. How will you further initiatives such as this to alleviate the pressure on students, alongside obviously fighting to actually change the situation that students are facing?
So the answer is a yes to the first question. Meaning I have to be there because I'm a victim of it right now. The second question is I already use those services, so yeah, pretty much yes for that as well. At the same time, again, catering to the students is what the union should be prioritizing over other things, keeping in mind all the regulations and all the big book stuff. So as long as the students are happy at the same time, they get what they come for, and this is the whole package, I think everyone would be good with that.
There's lots of different ways. Sorry guys, I'm asleep. One of them is definitely, I think I've mentioned this already so many times, of the fact that finding a renewable source of income for the community food pantry, that is like one of my main manifesto aims. Also expanding on it, whether it's seeking ways to get NISA on board, getting Too Good to Go or Too Good to Throw bags, or access to that, lots of different ways. I'm like dedicated to finding a way to expand on it. Pressing for microwaves, or for the university to provide microwaves. I think that's the least that they can do amidst the cost of living crisis. I know that the union has ones at underground, but obviously I wouldn't say they're the most accessible at times like Ramadan. So that's one. Obviously supporting and advocating existing campaigns like the Better Buses campaigns to help better buses, collaborating with the vice president communities when it comes to all sorts of matters such as housing and transport, grilling the university pretty much for that and telling them to do better, because there's lots of different ways they can help, such as bursaries, enhancement themes, etc. I know that there's some bursaries available for international students, but they're not made to be the most accessible or really communicated. And one of my missions is for that to be improved on, in order for students to know more about it and be able to access it, because international students are also on edge amidst this crisis.
Great, thank you both. Any last questions? No? No? I've got a final last quick question. Give it a really short response. If you don't win, will you hold the winning candidate accountable for their election promises?
I think it's a collective effort is what I would say, because the student union is not only the president which is involved. So when the student union is elected, he has to maintain his end goal as well as his people's goal to the students. So when all this happens, right, students would get the benefit of doubt, saying that what's the difference between the previous candidates and the current candidates. So when a promise is made, I think it is a mandatory thing to fulfill it. At the same time, how's the possibility and what are the chances of it being true should be also caught. So it's what I think.
Nope, somewhere with B in Stirling. I will probably do exactly like our sustainability coordinator who lives in a van, and I think that is amazing, and I might do that and live in a van somewhere in some random place in Spain. So you will not have to worry about me, honestly.
Great, thank you.
Lies. I'm going up with political lies. Sustainability is underage little peanuts.
Thank you.
Somebody does, but not her.
Closing statements.
Honestly, please vote for me. And my slogan has really sold me last year, myself me again this year. It's lean on me. So yeah, vote for me and lean on me. Woo!
Yes, guys, I'm present. So what I would say is, again, vote for me. Expect more, as well as don't shy back when you have to vote, because every vote matters, is what I feel. At the end of the day, it is again back to you guys for what you're doing on. This is what I understood from my experience. Thank you.
Thank you both. If we can get a round of applause for our union press candidate. You're freezing up. I want to end this section with, if anybody is still here, Elliot, please come on stage. I want to thank you all for coming, and I know we lost a few people, but it's really important that we get people to show up for these events, and it's been a privilege for hosting this on behalf of Polsock, and I want to thank Brig and AirTV as well. So I would like a standing applause for the tech staff, because I don't know anything about tech. So. So this is my last year doing this, so Elliot, please, if you have any final remarks, go ahead.
Look, just thanks everyone for coming, thanks to the tech people, and yeah, I have nothing else. I forgot the most important thing. So, union elections, voting opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. and closes Thursday, the same week, on 5 p.m. I believe. Yes. So please do go out, vote, and harass your friends to go vote, because the voting percentage is quite low. So, Thank you.